What is up, everyone? This is Jeff. This is Jeff Needs Sports, and this is the Buckeye Remix, Week 12, Michigan State. All right. What's going on, everyone? I'm Jeff. Is like I said, this is the Buckeye Remix. This is kind of a fun week. We get to enjoy a great victory Sunday on the basically the precipice of one of the bigger Michigan Ohio State games coming up this weekend. But we're going to take a minute. We're going to look at the Ohio State 56-7 complete destruction of the Michigan State Spartans over the weekend. It was a good time had by all, especially Buckeye Nation. So let's kind of get into it here. Basically, the overall was 100% dominance, and I mean that. I really tried. You know me, negative Nancy. I tried to nitpick. I tried to find blemishes. I just couldn't. We first of all, we know that it was a half of football is all that it was. It really the complete second 30 minutes of the game meant nothing. And that's how it was. So if we look at the first 30, the first two quarters of that game, it was just 100% dominance. What the Buckeyes really did, and we'll get into how they did it, but they solidified their just winning your end path. They absolutely cemented it. They could in theory, if possible, win the next couple games by a point on a safety, and it would not matter. They looked every bit like a playoff team against a good, a number 7, team in the country in Michigan State over the weekend. So that was the main thing, 100% dominance. They backed up, everything that the committee said about them, the voters said about them, we've said about them. So really, really impressive. One of the better victories in a long time for Ohio State. A lot of teams don't have victories. It's great. So, we talk about the knee jerks. The Buckeyes understood the assignment. They knew what was in front of them. They knew who was in front of them. They knew who was coming up, in the next couple of weeks. They knew not to fall into that trap. They knew not to worry about the point spread. They knew not to take this team lightly. They knew, and then they also knew that 100% they had to win. And I don't think they had to look great, but it would really help if they just put their foot on their necks and really looked good. They did it all. They knew that it was the last home game for a lot of really, really, really excellent players coming through. Some honestly will never know their names, but have left, put their heart and soul in the Buckeyes, football, and some that are going to leave early. Some like Chris Olave, who had a legendary career at Ohio State. So they understood what was in front of them, and they tackled it, and it did not get to them at all. No, it was zero nerves. And then as far as like that, they were completely focused. They executed brilliantly. Every pass seemed to hit hands. The routes were crisp. The defense knew their assignments. I mean, just on and on and on. I could, tell you they executed. It was just really a wonderful. The knee jerk this is what I said. I'm watching a game and I said, early in the year when they're playing down to opponents or they're in the Tulsa game or some of those games to where they didn't look as great. What I told everybody, or what I said yesterday when I'm watching the game, is like, this is the game that us Buckeye fans, this is why sometimes we sound like we don't appreciate what we got, because we know this is the team that we got. The team that played Michigan State Saturday was the team that we know we have. So when we see them not live up to that potential, that is why you hear us griping. That is why we complain. That is why we sound like spoiled brats that we are. And I love being a spoiled brat when it comes to this team. But that team Saturday is exactly why we're so critical of them, because we know what their potential is. And honestly, basically every drive is a touchdown, you're almost reaching perfection, all these things. So that was my takeaway, is that this is the team that we know we have and that we need to see, going forward, honestly. Talk about offense. It was just one of those things, like everything worked. I love the variety of the personnel packages. They really, sometimes they're 21 personnel. You want to call it 12 personnel. It depends on how, if we're going to call like Rossi, for instance, H-back or fullback, whatever you want to say. I like that. I love, they're starting off in these bunch formations. They've with these great receiver packages. They're bringing them down, tight to the motion them down to the tight end. That worked great through the game because you can run out of that. It is hard to, you can't cover these receivers. That's all the more space they have that you have to cover these receivers. It worked great. Michigan State was completely on tilt the entire game by the Buckeye offense. Everything they did worked. Stroud, we'll get to him in a second. Couldn't have played better. All the right decisions. Just the play designs, the route designs, everything worked really well. Every department, if you want to call it, in the offense just was clicking on all cylinders. It was really fun to watch. Really fun, really impressive. One of the better offensive performances probably I've seen since that wonderful 59-0 win in 2000, the 2014 Big Ten championship game is what really reminded me of. Talk about the D. Finally, like the defensive linemen's they've been good all year, but they've really picked it up here lately. Got a lot of pressure with only 4, which is crucial if you're going to play more zone, which the Buckeyes are doing. Again, I'm a fan of it. I will not back down from that. Got pressure with 4, really, swatted balls, upset the quarterback, got everybody off, off schedule. And they didn't, as the defense as a whole, didn't give up the huge busted plays that we've seen from these Buckeye teams for a long time. Every team, not just the Buckeyes, but we see the Buckeyes, like how many times are we like, oh my gosh, we had a team, 21-0 or 14-0, and they give up this silly, 80-yard touchdown or something like that. I think you think of the Maryland game a couple years ago, 2 90-yard touchdowns, just things like that. None of it. The biggest takeaway from the D, completely nullified Walker. I'm not saying this to be mean or whatever, but basically ended his Heisman chances. I think he had 25 yards. They essentially pulled him from the game because he was useless. No reason to have him in there. It was useless, not he's useless. He seems like a nice kid, but they completely nullified what they knew Michigan State had to do to win. Did everything right. The defense really, really looked good. It was fun to see. They attacked. They were mean. Couple skirmishes here and there, which I like to see. Got a little blood in their mouth, which was cool. So all in all, I've been hard on them all year, but great performance by the defense. We'll break it down here when we get to the report card. So, that was it. Knee jerk was, this is the team reached its potential, and this is what it looks like. Of course, we all know I would assume almost everybody listening is a Buckeye fan or supporter or interested in a team. We know that after they look dominant against the team, everybody's just, we know they're going to dismiss Michigan State. They always dismiss the opponent. I don't care. Michigan State was really good coming into that. If that game would have been a 10-point game, everybody would have said Michigan State was still, a top 10 team. It just, when you humiliate a team like that, it's natural that they're going to take away from them. But great win by the Buckeyes. They get all the credit for beating a top 7 team, just like anybody else would. Really, really a lot of fun. So let's talk about the report card here. This was a fun one this week. This is going to be a shocker. When I review it, it's a shocker. A's across the board for the first time ever on the Buckeye Remix. I could not find a flaw. Once again, I didn't really grade this team on the second half. Not that they played great the second half, but none of it mattered. We'll start with the quarterback. Quarterback A+. Great decisions, great ball placement. Probably 2 or 3 of the top 5 throws that Stroud has thrown all year. He hit guys open. He gave him a chance to run. The receivers made a couple great catches, but just all in all, 17 completions in a row, another high state record. Just really played a wonderful game. Knew when to, there's a couple times where he just had to lay down for a sack. No big deal. Get up, get the first down. I think he scrambled for 1 first down, which was great for Buckeye Nation because that's all we want is just these free yards. It wasn't a big deal, but that's been a topic of conversation. Stroud played a miraculous game. We can talk about it. If you care about the Heisman, he played himself in the right to the top of the Heisman race. I personally, that doesn't matter to me. If he wants it, great for him, but I really don't care as far as how the team goes. We got bigger fish to fry. But great job by quarterback. Wide receivers, just awesome. Another A+. Perfect routes. They caught everything, literally. The ball hit their hands. It came in. Most of all, congrats to Olave for setting the touchdown reception record at Ohio State. The kid deserves it. What a wonderful career he's had, at Ohio State, and really been a difference maker for 4 years. Terrific guy. But when you go back and you watch the route design and what they were doing, and just how crisp they were and how they helped get each other open. They've been doing it all year, but it was magnificent and they caught everything. There was absolutely no stopping them. They could have had 900 yards if they wanted to Saturday. Just really amazing job by them. What a great crew. Just a great group of receivers all around. I mean, from tight ends all the way down. Just amazing. Running backs, they got a straight A. They we could have, like, Ohio State probably could have ran for 500 yards if they wanted to. It just wasn't the game plan. They did exactly their part. They got the first downs when they needed them. They big receptions when they needed them. They hit the holes solid. They just, the only reason they only get an A was because they were limited in what they were asked to do, because Stroud was throwing it all over the ballpark. So great job by the running backs. They were a mismatch, and if we're going to say it, Henderson looked like the best running back on the field, and Walker's on the other side. So that's something. And really, really, really happy for Master Teague. I honestly don't know if he's going to be on this Buckeyes team next year. I don't know if he stays or takes a spot somewhere else to maybe get some more run. Regardless, he basically got a lot of run, but he got a whole drive to himself towards the end. That last touchdown, they kept feeding him. The crowd was going crazy. The offensive line won it for him. He got the touchdown. He's mattered a lot over the last few years. He's just kind of one of those guys that, there's not an exact perfect spot for him, but he's always been there for the Buckeyes. And he's had a good career. So I was really happy for Teague. That was awesome. So running backs, NA. Offensive line, NA. Again, they opened the holes they need to. Really nobody bothered Stroud at all. They manhandled. I don't know if it's a great defensive line for Michigan State, but they did their part. They manhandled them. They've played great all year. Their size really came into play. The pass protection was wonderful. So great job by the offensive line. Another A for them. Move on to defense, which is rare that I get to talk this well about the defense, but they deserve it. Defensive line, again, fierce pressure the entire game. It was just one, if it wasn't Garrett or Williams or Smith, or it was just constant pressure the entire game that really, once again, got this offense completely off schedule. They batted balls down. They completely shut down a running game that, Michigan State only had 66 rushing yards. That's amazing. Only 158 passing yards, by the way. The defensive line really just played excellent. So A for the defensive line. Great job by them. Linebackers, I gave them an A. It was kind of a weird game for them. They basically had to show pressure and then they had to cover their zones, but they did both well. They tackled well. Eichenberg, I thought, was his best game by far. Chambers looked pretty good again. They just did their job, and that makes this defense work when they do their job. When they don't open these holes up, and you're going to run more zone defense, it makes it work. So I thought the linebackers did a great job. They've rotated a lot of them throughout the year, but some of that is paying off a little because I feel right now we have 5 linebackers that can tackle people when they need to. So I'm on board. I'm on board with how the linebackers played. So they got an A. Of course they got an A. You hold one of the best teams in the country to 224 yards. Your linebackers played really well. Move on to defensive backs. They got an A+. I really went back and looked and tried to find something. The catches that were made against them were honestly like throws that they defended. They were great catches, credit to them, but they didn't give up the big plays. They played the zone man, when they had to, switch back and forth. They did really well. So, which confuses quarterbacks. Did a great job. Burke is definitely, I think Burke's the key to the defense. When he was banged up there, I was really worried. I think he makes this defense tick. I don't know if we can do it without him. Great tackling by them. The safeties, big plays. Again, Williams and Hickman and these guys, I mean, big plays, sure tackling, especially on like screen passes and any of that stuff behind the line of scrimmage. Just a great job by them. And again, no big plays, none of those silly big plays that keep a team in a game that has no business playing for Ohio State. They never let up. Really nice job by the defensive backs and their coaches. Credit to them. Coaching staff, which I label under head coach, A+, because this team was ready. The play calling was great on the offensive and defense. Everything worked. And Day made his statement. He said he put that team out there under the spotlight, the top 10 matchup, and he put his, the full force of his team out there, and everybody got to see what they could do. He made sure that they understood, he's I talked about how they understood what, this game was about. That comes from the coaching staff. Like all week, you can tell there was no looking behind him, no looking ahead of them. They were focused on this game. They wanted to stomp the number 7 team into the ground and let everybody in the country know that they're here, and they did. So great job by him. Because when this team's ready to play, honestly, I don't know if anybody can beat them, but it's going to take a really good team to beat them if they're focused and they're ready to play. So great job by the coaching staff. So essentially an A for the team. It was wonderful. It was fun to relax and watch a game and see them have some fun. And at the same time, it wasn't by luck either. It was execution. It was concentration. It was focus. Hard work paying off is awesome to see. Congratulations to all the seniors or any players that are leaving. That'll be their last time in the shoe. We appreciate it. It was a great game. We're hard on them, but honestly, at the bottom line is they want to win. They're trying for Buckeye Nation. Things don't always work out. But we appreciate that. We appreciate all the sacrifice and hard work they put in over the years, and we don't think you're done yet. So, that being said, this is it. It's here. The season flew by. It's Michigan week. It is here. It is the next 5-6 days. Whenever you listen to this, 3 days, whenever. I mean, this Saturday is a huge game. Winner take all in the Big Ten East. A playoff elimination game. Everything that we thought this season was building up to is here. So, enjoy the week, enjoy, talking about it with your coworkers, enjoy the razzing, whatever you normally do. But the main thing is, like, remember Saturday morning, whatever it is you do, if it's your favorite t-shirt, if it's your favorite coffee mug, if it's, you always talk to this friend, or you always do this, or I don't care if you wear your underwear inside out, whatever it is that you normally do it this Saturday. The fans, this is all we can do for the team, is make sure that we do our part and have a good time. Try to enjoy the game. It's going to be stressful, obviously. The Buckeyes are the better team, but Michigan is really, really, really good. It is not going to be easy. So enjoy the victory week. Focus on Saturday, and that's really all we can do right now. So it's been fun. Hopefully we're having another victory Sunday next week, and you just never know. So, with that being said, have a great week, everybody. Check out Jeff Needs Sports anywhere you get your podcast. Find out, check out my other guys on offtheballnetwork.com. We got a lot of fun stuff going on over there, and that's it. So go Bucks and beat